Hello everybody, welcome to the English Language Enhancement Program. In this program, we are going to look at ways in which we can improve English communication skills among school students. The first group that we are going to focus on is class 1 to 3. Now when we look at this age group, class 1 to 3, we are looking at students who are in a mode of transition. They come in from their mother tongue speaking background and they are going to move into a new language which is going to be their medium of instruction further on in their school and in their college and of course in their workplace too. So when we look at this, we have to keep in mind that they are in a stage of transition in this particular age group or in these particular classes. So it is extremely important that we make their learning experience extremely happy. Remember, these students are extremely impressionable. They come from a certain social background. They come from a certain value system, a certain cultural background. If we try and impose English language teaching just like we would do with any other subject, I'm afraid the students will get frightened. Okay? And in any communication, remember, we have to bring in the point of happiness. Learning has to be a very happy experience. And we have to gradually bring in the transition from their mother tongue to English. Let's keep in mind that their mother tongue is actually an advantage for us. Most of the students who come to us in this stage, okay, in class 1, let's start with class 1, are already quite good with their mother tongue. They can communicate their basic requirements. They can communicate their fears. They can communicate their apprehensions. Okay, so let us use this base that they have in their mother tongue and then using that as a foundation, build on a new language, that is English. Let me demonstrate it with an example to you as to how we will go through these 3 stages. Let's take a very common story. That is the story of, I'm sure you've all read this, about 3 little pigs. Okay? All of you would have heard about this. Now when we talk about 3 little pigs, what we need to start first is, when we are going to use the same story in class 1, we first get them to give the 3 little pigs, instead of giving them English names like Tom, Harry, okay, Lewis or anything like that, let us allow them to give them familiar names. This is for class 1. Let them give them familiar names. Okay? You could give them names like Money, okay, Hari, any such names that is common to their culture or their knowledge. After that, what we need to do is, when we tell them the story, okay, we use a lot of keywords in their mother tongue so that there is a gentle blend. Otherwise, you can also use a lot of body language. Okay, you can use a lot of facial expressions also in case you do not want to use the mother tongue at all. Okay, but in this way, what you're going to do is, you're going to make that learning transition comparatively easier. So second thing you will do is use bilingual or effective body language. In fact, here, when the teacher speaks, like if you're all, I'm sure you're all familiar with the story of 3 little pigs. When you talk about the big bad wolf, you can always bring in a lot of facial expressions. Okay, you can say big, bad wolf, something like that. Show them the picture of a wolf. Alright? Once you have told them the story, you can introduce them to what we call as sight words. That is simple 2-letter words. Okay, simple 2-letter words or even 3-letter words like pig, bad. Don't get them into words like wolf. It's more than enough if they speak those words. Okay, when we talk about sight words, we are talking about easily recognizable words. What are we doing? We are actually building a passive vocabulary for the child. This is what we are trying to do when we do this. Okay, writing at this level is out of the question. Okay, this child just has to learn to listen, keep listening to various sounds in English. You can also bring in a simple rhyme poem. Okay, a simple rhyme poem where the student will say the pig, the 3 little pig. You can rhyme the 3 names, money, hurry, another name that matches with it, like that. Okay, and then we can say fat pig. Okay, fat, mat, pat, tat, like that. So what we are doing is we are getting them slowly familiar to English sounds and English words. Right? So this is the way in which we go about for classes 1 to in class 1. Now what do we do when it comes to class 2? Let's remember that by the time a child completes class 1, the child has already built in a passive vocabulary. When I say passive vocabulary, it means the child is able to speak that particular, word, and the child is able to recognize that word. Right? So now the child should be able to read the story 3 Little Pigs. Okay? The child should now be able to read the story, right? And they may not necessarily comprehend what is written. Okay, they may not comprehend it completely, right? But then they will be able to read the story. They are practicing their visual familiarity that they have developed with the word. After this, remember that since they still suffer from the anxiety of transition to a new language, we got to prevent that anxiety. We can slowly get them into role play. Okay? When they do role play, do not emphasize too much on, the errors they make or anything like that. Just let them be a part of the play. Let 3 students become 3 little pigs. Let there be one person who is going to become a wolf. Let them come up with any kind of grammatical structures. But the point is, you have to get them out of the anxiety of using this particular language. Okay? And of course, we increase the level of sight words. Okay? And along with rhymes, we introduce basic emotion words. Okay? Happy, sad, emotion words. Right? We introduce them to all this. Writing is still not very relevant. Since we are focusing on the spoken skills, this is what we are going to look at. Now let's come to level 3. When we come to level 3, the student should be able to read the story and answer direct questions. Okay? They should be able to answer direct questions. Okay? Who were the people living in the home? What kind of a home did the second pig live in? Okay? What was Money? What happened to Money's house when the wolf came to his house? Right? That kind of questions should be answered. Now the students should be able to connect, using these 3 little pigs, they should be able to connect animal and habitat. they should be able to connect these features, right? Mind you, our aim, though we are using familiar environment here. So whichever environment the student is in, say the student is in Kashmir and the student talks about a yak, alright, or maybe a student in some other place, say in Kerala, might like to talk about an elephant that he sees regularly in his temple festival, right? So you have to connect a familiar environment for the child, pick up an animal over there and connect it to that habitat, and help them to make simple sentences. For example, we can say birds live in a nest. Okay? Just some keywords, again oral. We are just slowly getting them used to the sound and the feel of English language. So at the end of class 3, level class 3, a student should be able to at least tell us what the story was about in their own words. They can say, they can even express their emotions, maybe not with grammatical accuracy, but they should be able to express themselves and say that, okay, I did not like the wolf was bad, the wolf was cruel, okay, the third pig was smart, the third pig was clever, okay. They may not be able to spell these words, but it's more than enough if they use these words. So this is a strategy that we are going to follow from classes 1 to 3. They are going to listen to what is spoken to them by the teacher. So the teacher has to be extremely careful about the way in which the teacher stands in the class and speaks and animates the lesson for the learner in the class. Right? Now, I will take you through the next levels. Thank you.